This is Colin Cleary with Nicholas Rieger. We are Bloodlines Comics, and today, I know this is not him, this is Venom, of course, but we're going to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home. So, I'm just going to let you guys know right now that we want to actually talk about the spoilers. So, if you do not want any spoilers and you have not seen the movie yet, do not watch. Thank you very much. Okay, so then, I know that right off the bat, we walk right into where we left off with at Far From Home, where J. Jonah Jameson, who is just let the world know who Spider-Man is, which is Peter Parker, of course. And I feel like they were trying to capture that moment of the craziness with how they were using the camera to record and having all the shakiness in there and whatnot.
Yeah, and one thing I was going to point out is, you know me, I've been a Spider-Man fan. He's been my favorite for the beginning of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when they bring in J. Jonah Jameson, it's kind of like you start to get that sense of the original Spider-Man movie that came out, the Tobey Maguire one, and J. Jonah Jameson. He was always my favorite in that. You didn't really see him in the Amazing Spider-Man, but you kind of start out like that, and people were questioning. They were like, "Ooh, is Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield going to be in this?" Oh, we don't know. But you start out with J. Jonah Jameson. It's kind of like, you're going to enter the Spider-Verse. You know what I mean? Did I lose you?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're right there. Sorry. No, but you know what I mean? You're about to enter the Spider-Verse, and Doctor Strange is in it too. So
Yeah, I really liked. I believe is it J.K. Simmons? His name? I can't remember what his name is, so I'm not even going to try now. But the Tobey Maguire Spider Man's J. Jonah Jameson, that actor came back to act as J. Jonah Jameson, even at the tail end of Far From Home, and that was just a really cool moment to me. And having him back really brought back that nostalgic feeling because he acted and talked just like how Jameson did in the 90s cartoons. And honestly, I've always, whenever I read his voice in the comic books, I always heard him in that type of way. So it was a big moment having him back.
yeah,
And
absolutely, and you gotta. What was really cool was the way, and I'm gonna let Colton spoil this for you, but what was really cool was the actors from other Spider Verses actually agreed to come back, and they were like, they were all about it. You know what I mean? They
yeah,
were like,
that was
oh,
really cool.
and it's you see all this stuff in today's world, and it's like, oh, we can go this way or that way, and sometimes actors get replaced. What was cool about this movie was everybody involved saw it going one way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they came back and came together to bring this huge movie moment to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. So, now we're on the fact that everybody knows who Peter Parker is, and of course he goes to Doctor Strange, and I really like the way they did that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And Doctor Strange is a smart aleck, and then you have Peter Parker as a smart aleck. So putting those two together, good moments. Uh, Doctor Strange, Peter Parker's talking during the spell, correct?
Yes.
And he keeps telling him to shut up, basically. And he's like, just stop, just stop.
Yep.
Well, he ends up messing up the spell. And it throws this whole what the movie's about. You know what I mean?
Yep. It's the big changing moment and bringing all these universes together. Um, he's, I don't know, getting to see Doctor Strange in this one was pretty great. And whenever they winded up having to eventually fight each other, because obviously Doctor Strange is just trying to fix this problem and put it all away. And Peter Parker is actually trying to save everybody who is being messed up by this spell.
Yeah, and that shows the that shows who Peter Parker is. He's a man of the people. He doesn't care how lost you are. We have to find a way to save him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we talked about it, I think, in one of your comic books once before that you did a
Yeah,
review of.
yeah, absolutely. And so that was really cool to kind of like, because we watched it on the big screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see that moment kind of transpire. And then I remember he beat Doctor Strange, and he goes back and he's like, I can't remember what he says, but it's something like, "Oh, I just beat Doctor Strange," and they're like, "Where's he at?" And he's like, "Oh, he's in there or whatever."
Stuck in the
So
Mirrorverse or whatever it
yeah,
is.
the Mirrorverse. Yeah, so it was
Yeah.
really cool to see that moment. It was like, there's Peter Parker. You know?
Yeah, especially with him figuring it out from the scientific way instead of the magical way, and just
Yeah,
webbing everything the way he wanted to and making it happen. And that's one of those key moments where Spider-Man shows that he's got a high intellect and is capable of figuring out solutions to problems just by using his brain and not always just having to rely on the brawn. So,
yeah, absolutely. And I know a big moment for you was you wanted to talk about William Defoe and Alfred Molina because we talked
yeah,
about him in the trailer video, but now seeing them on screen, I know you really wanted to go in depth and talk
yeah,
about them.
I most certainly did. Obviously, William Defoe being a very well known actor, and Alfred Molina not far behind, being some of the greats in their acting ability. I loved having them come back and seeing William Defoe take on the role of Green Goblin once more. Uh, I cannot speak enough on how awesome that first fight scene between him and Spider Man was whenever they were fighting in the apartment complex or whatever it was they were fighting in, and how they were trading out who had the upper hand, and being able to jump up and Spider-Man, going up in the air and webbing himself around to where he was on top and slamming him through the floor and just blowing through walls of the building and going, they went full force at it and it definitely felt like it. Truly great. Uh,
Yeah,
Doc Ock fighting him on the bridge. I thought that was a rather cool fight scene to be one of the first big ones to come in.
yep. And I feel like Tom Holland not being from those verses, uh, he really played it off well because he genuinely was like, I don't know who you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they kept playing it off, and like Alfred Molina was like, come on, Peter. You know what I mean? You know who I am. And Tom Holland's like, who are you? And it was, those exciting moments. And it's kind of, it made you laugh because I remember sitting in the theater and people were actually giving applauses for it. And we did not talk about this beforehand, Colt. Let's talk about Murdoch.
Oh yeah, I was waiting to come up on that moment, but then all of a sudden you threw William Defoe and out there
Okay,
on him.
okay.
So,
Well,
but
here's the
yes,
moment now, Murdoch. So, what do you think about that? What's in the future for him?
it was crazy seeing it. I do know that Daredevil and Spider-Man both wind up working together to fight against the Kingpin, and Kingpin is like one of the big ultimate guys in Spider-Man. Uh, I feel like he's just as big as Green Goblin. So if we can get to that point, that's like the next big step in villains for Spider-Man. Of course, we've seen Kingpin twice now, once in Daredevil, the Ben Affleck movie, and now in the Netflix series. And so I'm sure he's going to make his round into Spider-Man. You have not watched Hawkeye yet, have you, Nick?
I have not. I have
Uh,
not.
that's that's definitely what you should have on your list to do next after this, considering that you now have Matt Murdock showing up as a lawyer in
Here's my
Spider.
list. I will write that down for you, Colt.
Okay, good. Because spoiler alert, yet again, if you haven't seen Hawkeye, stop listening. Just don't listen if you don't like spoilers. But Kingpin winds up showing up in Hawkeye. So it's like a lot of stuff is starting to come together. Disney, I guess, is starting to show that they truly do own every aspect of Marvel as much as they possibly can. And I don't know. I'm pretty excited to see Matt Murdock suit up as Daredevil in a Spider-Man movie, or maybe even as a standalone movie where he's not, tied down by Netflix's, whether they can't spend money or just don't want to spend the time. So,
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I want to talk about is they end up on Ellis Island. That's all I'm saying. And then my next part is don't listen anymore. Cut the video off if you haven't seen it.
go watch it now.
Yeah, go right now. But we're cutting close on time right now, so I really do want to drive this last point in.
We can make
Tobey
a second
Maguire.
part.
What's that?
We can make a part 2.
Shh, we're not telling them that though. Come on.
Secret.
But I really do. I want to express Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Andrew Garfield, loved him. When he came out in The Amazing Spider-Man, I thought, oh my goodness, they have found the perfect Spider-Man.
The perfect Spider-Man, not the perfect Peter Parker.
Not the perfect Peter Parker,
No,
the perfect Spider-Man.
The perfect Spider-Man, most definitely.
Tom Holland, perfect Peter Parker.
Yep.
Wait, did I get that wrong?
Tobey Maguire was pretty good as Peter Parker.
Tobey Maguire had both, and that it was really cool to see them all together because it was like, who do you like more? Who do you like more? Which one?
It's hard to decide whenever they're all in the same film fighting as Spider-Man.
And then, you're trying to decide that in your head, and at the same time, you're thinking, wow, they are all really perfect right now. Like, they are all,
they were definitely feeling it. They were in their element, I felt like.
Yeah, and that's really cool, too, because, Andrew Garfield, from what we've heard, got screwed out of The Amazing Spider-Man 3. Tom Holland coming in, being the new one, and Andrew Garfield coming from the past, and it was like, you guys all agreed to this one movie. Go make 5 more right there. Here we go. First down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's limitless on what they can truly do at this moment. They've shown that they can come together. They've shown that they have the chemistry. And once you show you have the chemistry, what's to stop you after that?
Nothing.
You
Absolutely nothing.
It's just like a sports team or a rock band. They'll come out with hit album after hit album after hit album. Well, now you got your 3 Spider-Man together. They can come out with a hit movie after a hit movie after a hit movie. People are going to love this and eat it up. So.
Oh, yeah, and when we went, the theater was pretty packed, and they were literally like clapping just all across the theater, and I'm like, what the heck is going on right now? You know what I mean? Like, this is kind of cool, you get to be a part of it. And, some people might say, hey, it's a movie, whatever. But this is what we grew up on, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was definitely enjoyable. I do have to say, though, that suit right at the end that they had Tom Holland wearing. We'll get on to this with the next video. So,
I was going to say,
very excited about this movie, and Bloodlines will talk to you about again in part 2.